Welcome to the listening show, the show that you can listen to. Good friend, buddy pal Walter, have you ever not listened?
I'm listening to the intro right now. Oh, there it goes.
Yeah, I hadn't turned it on all the way. Have you ever not listened?
I'm sure I have at some point never not listened.
Well, maybe you should listen.
I was thinking that was so fast, but I forgot we decided we were going to do short ones next time. I totally forgot. Like, that's too quick.
Yeah, we just gotta move
really
past
well. We can actually just have a conversation now.
Now we can just do the podcast already.
Wow.
Nobody's complained about it so far, but
We've been on a streak of doing long ones, and we always expected to switch it up. We never have switched it between long and short. Like we need to do a short one.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us. Yeah, I did. I was almost about to do a bit. I'll save the bit for next time. But I was gonna not say the listening show. I've been like, welcome to the visual show, the show you can watch, and people be like, oh, that's not it. Uproar. Maybe sometime I'll do that. Well, thanks for joining us today. Our topic today is holidays. One of our listeners requested that we talk about Halloween and our upbringing. Oh, I wish I could remember which one of them it was so I could credit them with the idea. But I actually had a weird Halloween growing up. And I was like, yeah, we could talk about all holidays because I can't just talk about Halloween for an hour or whatever. But it's a good question. I want to make sure that we listen to what you guys say.
I was going to say, we were listening as well. We read the comments on YouTube. So
I was thinking we could just go through from the beginning of the year through the not beginning.
Beginning of the year?
Yeah, like all the holidays.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well,
and just tell stories.
Would that be New Year's Eve day?
It'd be day. New Year's Day.
I guess so.
Yeah, the day when all good decisions are made.
You know, I don't have any New Year's Day stories. I got New Year's Eve, so I guess that's going to be the last story, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
That will be the last story. But here's a funny observation about New Year's Day. It's technically most people's best day of their year because that's the day when they start like all these new things that are supposed to better their lives. It's like, we're going to do New Year's resolutions, and that's the day they do them for sure.
Yeah.
Because they normally don't last that long for most people, but that's funny. What I thought about it, it's like, that's probably most people's day where they do the best.
If you had to live a Groundhog Day, a day over and over again, New Year's Day would probably be the best day to choose, where people are acting their best, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you think, between that and like Christmas would probably be a good Groundhog Day because everybody's kind on Christmas most of the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, New Year's Day.
Funny observation.
You have a funny observation?
No, that was a funny observation. That New Year's Day is the best humanity has to offer, kind of.
Yeah. Do you do New Year's resolutions?
No. Yeah. Although I am going to actually. We're like a month away from New Year's Day. New Year's, I'm going to start streaming Twitch and making gaming videos regularly. It's not a New Year's resolution. New Year's Day is just an arbitrary goal date to have everything ready by. I don't think of it as a New Year's resolution, but that is
technically what it is.
Technically what it is.
I've done that before. I normally wait till my birthday, which is February 18th, and I normally
get a couple extra months.
Yeah, I don't want to. I put it off because I don't want to do the same thing as everybody else. I don't want to be the January 1st freak.
Do you have any New Year's Day holiday stories or traditions?
Not that come to mind. I've had New Year's resolutions before, but
let's both pick one New Year's resolution that we've tried. I'm gonna say, I want to remember explicitly that I've done this and not just think that I have, but I'm pretty sure.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
No, I'm sure I've tried to diet and or exercise on New Year at 1 year, but I've been around for a little while, so I don't remember.
I only remember the New Year's resolution I kept the longest, and it was my New Year's resolution was to read through the Bible in 1 year at one point, and I got really close. I went all the way through August. I got over halfway, and I read over half the Bible, and then I just lost steam because I got to one of the long books. I know. I've read through the whole Bible before, but it's not been in 1 year.
Yeah.
But I got really close that time, and so there's been other times where I was like, I'm going to try that again at some point. Because I got close.
You could try it again this year. That sounds like I think I want to try that. That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, it's kind of a lot of work because you got to read at least like 6 pages a day.
Never mind.
Which like pages in small font, it's like kind of a lot.
I was gonna say, but what font size? Because if it's the large font, maybe I can do 6 pages. I have very
if there's
small
pictures,
font.
maybe if
They
they
take more like 12 pages a day.
yeah.
Bible with pictures. I'm imagining like modern, out of touch illustrations, like Moses with a tablet, like also is holding a lightning bolt. Like, what's this? You know,
or like
just walking on water, not dabbing, but like something is out of place. Like, wait, what? Like it's the mix between how you would expect a biblical drawing to look half modernized. I don't know.
That's such
Here's Jesus dabbing his toes in the water on them haters.
Yeah. This is my beloved son with whom I'm well pleased. And Jesus is like,
that's too modern. It's like, instead of a nice 50-50 balance, that's like 80-20. I don't know.
I have no idea how dabbing got involved, but I think you were saying that just something's like culturally out of place.
Yeah.
Like,
So I don't know. I just
Not
thought
as a-
Moses holding a lightning bolt with a tab. It's like, what's the lightning bolt? That's not,
Yeah.
So what would be out of place if they were illustrating Jesus on the water and you wanted to make it cooler or more modern?
Give him wings or something.
Give him wings. Okay.
Yeah. It's not as egregious as they're drinking out of like a Starbucks cup. It's not something like there's definitely out of place.
Right.
It's that they
it's
just
off.
don't know better.
Yeah, right. That's a good way to say it. The person who illustrated it is kind of ignorant as to the story, and so they
Like sandals with buckles. That'd be funny. They're wearing sandals, but they have like little buckles.
No. It's all the same except the rubber thing, but he's got shorts. It's like it's just off. It's like they don't wear shorts.
Yeah.
So he's got the sandals, the robe, and then it just stops at the knees.
I'm imagining like one of those moving picture Bibles where like you move the page and it shows different images. And it's like the Roman soldiers nailing him to the cross.
Yeah.
That'd be so ridiculous.
I love it.
It's not sacrilegious. It's just immersive. It's for kids. I love
it. Wow, look at this, Mom.
Yeah.
This is him rotating the page. So
Right.
Mom
Yeah.
can see it.
Yeah.
That's great. Anyway, New Year's Day.
Yeah. That was the resolution I kept the longest, I think.
Okay.
I got close. I should try it again.
I think the next one is Valentine's Day.
That's the next big one. There's
There's President's Day. Maybe it was before that.
we should pull up a list. I don't want to do just the ones
All
we
right.
remember because I don't want to forget an important one just because I'm not used to celebrating it. We can start on Valentine's Day, and if we have to work back, we can. I don't celebrate Valentine's Day usually.
20. There's a list of this list has 24, and that might be too much. You might get to pick. We can skip, I guess.
We could skip a couple.
Day,
New Year's Day.
Christmas Day. They're not in order. Oh man, how am I gonna? Wait a minute.
Say the holidays in order. Look them up in order. All U.S. holidays in order. We could talk about foreign holidays, but we don't have much to say about them.
This list has it looks like 10, which is more, I think, appropriate. It's just taking forever to
There was this hilarious James Corden video my roommate showed me yesterday where they were like, because Thanksgiving just happened, and one of the guys said, James Corden said, "You know what we call Thanksgiving in England?" And the guy he's talking to on stage goes, "Thanksgiving." He's like, "No, we don't call it Thanksgiving. We call it Thursday." And I thought it was funny. Thanksgiving. Do you have the list?
Yeah, I think it's loading.
Is it President's Day that's next?
That was my guess. It loaded, but I'm still scrolling. There we go. New Year's Day, Martin Luther King Day, which is January 20th, and then it's President's Day. Well, it says February 17th. It just skipped Valentine's Day.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's not a holiday. I don't know. There's only like 10 on this list, but Martin Luther King Day, I've maybe gotten work off. Maybe. I don't think so, though. What about you?
I don't have any stories about Martin Luther King Day.
So then the next one is next one will be Valentine's Day. It's not on this list, but I remember one time I went out to get ice cream at McDonald's by myself because I'm alone.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I'm just going to stare at, spitefully look at couples. And then I did that one year. So I was like the Grinch on Valentine's Day. And I've had I don't know if I've actually had a legitimate Valentine's. Me and my girlfriend didn't live anywhere near each other. I don't think we got to see each other at all. So I don't think I've had a Valentine's date ever. Other than that, I don't think I made this joke, but I had the joke that Valentine's Day is just Singles Awareness Day. That's kind of
pretty,
fun.
yeah.
But I don't think I
pretty
have any
culturally
good stories about that holiday.
Yeah, I remember we used to celebrate Single Awareness Day. But I was going to say a McDonald's story too, which is funny. I don't know why both of us think McDonald's when you think Valentine's Day. Yeah, that's the place you go if you're single on Valentine's. But because our arts academy was close to McDonald's, that was like our hangout spot. And so when it was Valentine's Day and we weren't dating anybody, I was like 14, you were like 17. We'd go to McDonald's. I know we did at least once together. We get Shamrock Shakes.
Hell yeah.
But I had this one, there was another time I went to McDonald's because that was like the close place to my house then. And I remember I got there and I was eating a shake like I normally did on Valentine's Day. And I had this thought and it was like a fantasy. And it was so funny to me that I put it on Facebook, and it's to this day one of my most popular posts. And it said something along the lines of, I'll just tell what I thought, because I remember thinking, man, I'm sure single. It'd be a lot easier to find a girlfriend if there was just like a ray of light that only I could see, that pointed right to her. I could just go chase her down. And so I imagined that on Valentine's Day is when you could see it, but you could only see it at a certain time of day when the sun was highest in the sky. I don't know, something stupid and arbitrary. But then I imagined that I'd get in my car and I'd be like waiting to see it, and then you'd see, and you'd be like, oh, she's that way. And you'd go and find her, and you'd drive that way and try to see if you could find her. And people, like, I can't remember how I worded it, but I worded it funny on Facebook, and everybody's like, oh, beam of light, you find your girlfriend. Oh, anyway.
That'd be convenient.
Wouldn't it though? Yeah. To this day, I still think like, boy.
After that though, you need a beam of light. Once you've gotten it, you need constant beams of light to find out what it is she wants.
Yeah. What she really wants. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. That's funny.
That's stupid.
Spatula. I don't know why she'd want a spatula. Sorry.
She didn't know she wanted the spatula. That's the catch. She doesn't know what she wants. It didn't say on here. It's I don't know about this list. It's missing the ones I'm thinking of. The next one's on May. I'm like, no, April has Easter. So my family did this thing, which I think this is just how Easter is supposed to be done. I realize it's not normal, but I think it's awesome. My mom would put together a basket full of basically candies and make it like pretty, and then hide it in the house. She'd do one for each of us kids. And once it was time, like, okay, let's get together. All right, now go find them. So you go try to find your basket. And the rule was, if you had like a colored basket, so you'd know which one was yours if you saw it. If you found someone else's basket, you have to not act excited, and you have to just act like you didn't just find it, so that your sibling has a chance to find it.
Yeah.
And I remember over the years it got more sophisticated because it was, they probably started in the same room. I know at some point I remember when it was one level of the house, and then there, or the basement, and then I remember it could be anywhere outside too.
Oh wow.
The levels got
that's so fun
over the years.
What was your color?
I don't know that I picked a color. She just told us what color your basket was going to be. So if you found it, you'd know it was yours or not.
That's fun.
And then, it's fun. And I think it's awesome. Mm-hmm. I love that idea for Easter. And then of course, Easter Sunday at church. So it was usually after church that we would do that. Mm-hmm. And then one other story I have from Easter is after we got all of our baskets, one time me and my siblings were outside. It was a nice day. We were on the trampolines. And I said that the baskets were pretty. They'd have like this frilly plastic stuff. I don't know what I'm talking about. So we're taking our candies out, and this frilly plastic stuff is flying out in the yard because of the wind. And Dad comes when he's pissed off. He's like, you all have to walk around this yard and pick up every single one of those. Mm-hmm. We're like, oh. Yeah. So it was horrible. Now as an adult, it's like, yeah, you can't just do that. Mm-hmm. Anyway, that was one Easter. We just spent like 3 hours walking around the yard trying to hand comb the grass blades.
Yeah.
And then after that, when we got to a certain age, Mom would just give them to us and not make us look for them anymore because we're old or whatever. But like Easter's cool.
Easter is cool. That's cool. Yeah, we always did egg hunts and stuff too.
I don't think I've ever done an egg hunt.
Yeah, Yeah. There was one Easter, the one that I remember is we did an egg hunt at my church, and I might be misremembering, so my parents might correct me later, but I think my dad was a youth pastor at the time. He's definitely a youth pastor at some point, but there was one Easter where all the pastors, they got a dunk tank. You know what a dunk tank is?
Nope.
Dunk tank, it's like a huge tank of water that you fill up, and then there's a chair that you sit on, and then there's a circle, like a small circle that you hit, and then if you hit it, then they get dunked in the water. And they got a dunk tank so that you could dunk the pastors. And I think my dad was one of the pastors at the time, and so I think I know for sure the other pastors, we got to dunk them. Everybody got turns, and you got to get your sandbag, and you sit there and you try to dunk the pastor. And I remember that was fun because it was so bad. Like, oh, we're gonna dunk the pastor, the good, perfect pastor. Yeah, and your mind as a kid, pastors are just like the best you could be, and you get to dunk them. Yeah. So bad of you. Anyway, but we did egg hunts.
That's a weird thing to do for Easter. I mean, it's kind of weird in general, but like for Easter,
it's supposed to be about resurrection.
I was gonna say, is it about see how we are buried?
Yeah,
and then we come back.
It's like baptism, but fun baptism.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
For Easter, let's dunk the pastor. What?
Yeah, they wanted to make it fun.
Yeah, well, it does sound fun.
It was fun. To this day, I think, like, why don't churches do that stuff more often? Why don't people...
Why not for baptisms? Have somebody sitting there in a
carnival
chair,
music.
And then everyone volunteers to get in a line.
It's like a magical moment.
And they play like carnival worship music. And everybody gets they take turns with one sandbag, and then the person in front throws in the audience. Oh, what do you miss?
And the pastor, every time you throw it,
step right on up and watch Nathaniel accept Jesus. And then they come up, and finally, when he gets dunked, he's baptized.
Yeah, well, no, even better than that. Like the pastor, as the ball's being thrown, he has to buried in the likeness of Christ and raised. And he has to give the whole buried in the likeness of Christ and raised. And this, you have to give the whole speech that they do normally.
Raised in the newness of the life.
Yeah. But he says it really fast while it's in the other. Buried in the likeness of Christ, and just in case it gets there. Hey. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I like it.
It keeps going. It's so bad. Pastor with his microphone turns to the guy who threw the mic. What's your name, Craig? Craig, how long have you been a member of our church? Well, good shot. Good. Thanks for baptizing Nathaniel. All right, next.
Craig, thanks for baptizing Nathaniel.
That's a bit sacrilegious.
I don't know. It's funny.
It's funny. I don't care.
It's like a corporate machine for baptism.
Yeah, I don't want to get into that.
It just dunks people and then displaces them. I'm picturing like a factory, a Christian factory. You see like a claw. Woohoo! I feel so alive. Dunk. And then like a robot reads you the Bible verse about it.
I don't want to get into it too much, but like I was thinking about the music that'd be playing. How do you play carnival / worship music? Well, the organ is a pretty common instrument for worship, but then you play the organ for whatever that music is for. It's the same instrument. It would work pretty well.
Yeah, you just do the trumpets. I'm trying to think of a worship song. There's no worship songs in that temple.
No,
they're all the same. No. I was just complaining about worship music to my mom the other day because it's all the same. Yeah, I won't get into that today, but
yeah.
So Easter was fun. Eggs.
The next holiday I'm seeing is Memorial Day, which is May 25th. I think maybe it depends on the year. I know some of these depend on the year.
I don't have any particularly notable Memorial Day memories.
No, just day off work. I was like, oh, I have to go because of that.
And when we say like day off work, that's only because it hasn't affected us directly. Obviously, the importance and the specialness of these days is not lost on us.
Yeah,
Memorial Day, for example,
how it's affected our day-to-day lives, basically growing up, is what we're
you don't have
talking
stories
about these
it.
Holidays.
There's reverence for those days because of what they mean, but I don't think that there's not things worth. Well, there's certainly things worth talking about, but we don't know them because Memorial Day is obviously a day to remember people that have died, for the country. Anyway,
speaking of country days, the next one listed on here, I think, is the next one that we would think of. It's July 4th. Mm-hmm. So I got some stories about that. I'm sure you got some stories too.
Impotence Day.
Impotence.
Mm-hmm.
Impotence Day.
Impotence Day. Independence Day.
Well, so typically growing up, me and my siblings and my family would go to North Dakota for one of my grandparents, and they live out in the country and whatever. And so fireworks was our thing, and it was fun. We do one of two things. We either go to the neighboring small town, watch the fireworks, and or light our own. And of course, fireworks are super amazing as a kid. They're still cool as an adult, so you can imagine how awesome they were as a kid. But usually every year we'd go up and do fireworks. And man, that's fun. I don't know how people normally do fireworks, but as a family, it was, I mean, us kids weren't buying these. We might be given an allowance or said you might get to pick some out when we're at the store. But when it comes time to light fireworks, everybody has their own pile. And then everybody takes a turn lighting one. You go out, light yours, you go out, then you light yours, and everybody just takes turns. And it lasts quite a while that way. But that area where my grandparents were was a great area for just, it's a country. This is just what people do. And good memories. And I think we basically did 4th of July properly, except the stereotype of beers and meat. I've never had that. I'd like to try it. Imagine beers, meat, or alcohol and barbecue and fireworks. That sounds awesome. So that might be the more proper way, American way to do it. I've never done that. That's what 4th of July always was for me.
Yeah, grilling and Bud Light, and it's fun. It's a good time. That's what I like doing now. It's just chilling, grilling some stuff, some steak, serve hot dogs and cheeseburgers and stuff. And anyway, my I don't know if I want to tell the story, but I guess I have to now. But my most embarrassing story of my whole life happened on a 4th of July.
Have I heard this story?
I think you have. I just feel so much shame about it to this day because it was just me as an ignorant kid saying something offensive without knowing it was offensive, and I should have known better, but I didn't because I was a kid. I said the N-word on a 4th of July in front of my friends because I didn't understand the context, and I had just learned the word. Anyway, and so to this day, like when they were like, "You can't say that." And I just felt there were so many people looking at me, and I was just so ashamed, and I didn't know.
Yeah.
But that's one thing I think of when I think of 4th of July, unfortunately.
That
it's
sucks.
like my most shameful, most embarrassing moment of my whole life. Because it was like that time when you're learning about that time in history, and you learn that word, and you learn the context. You usually watch all these historical documentaries or docuseries that show people using it in context.
Well, I know what you mean. I have a similar story. If I'm not interrupting,
yeah, go ahead.
I feel the same amount of shame. But I was, for whatever reason, as a kid, I was counting on my fingers. I was counting one at a time with one individual finger. And I had my middle finger out, not knowing that it meant anything. It's just a finger. And the two kids I was talking to, their neighbor kids, like, "Oh," I'm like, "What? Like, you can't do that." Like, "What? This?" And I lift my finger. "You can't do that." I'm like, "Why not?" And they were like, "Oh," almost like their parents were watching and they were going to get in trouble, sort of a feeling, even though their parents weren't there. So I went inside. I asked my mom, who's indifferent. I was like, "Why can't I do this?" She goes, "Because it's a bad thing." Why is it bad? I couldn't comprehend.
Yeah.
But anyway, luckily that did not happen in a setting like you when you're surrounded by so many people that you know and love instead of just a couple strangers. That would have been...
Well, and I wasn't as young as I think I made it seem. I was probably 13 or 14. I should have known better, but I didn't. And it wasn't because my parents didn't teach me. I'm sure they taught me and I just forgot. It was one of those just weird things that just let slip by. And I think the main reason I was so embarrassed is because the person I was crushing on so huge at that time was there. And she was the one who said, "You can't say that."
Yeah.
It was so embarrassing to me. And it was also kind of like I'd been using that word with another friend because he was bringing it up and everything. And it was like a funny joke to him to use it because he knew how bad it was. I didn't. And so he was there with me. And so I kind of told it to him like, "Haha, this." And he was like, he kind of did this, and I was like, "Oh, that didn't land this time." And everybody just all eyes. I was like, I didn't even say that to you guys. I was saying it to him, but it was too late. I had said it, and it was probably like 14 or 15 people. It was just like my heart just sank. I was so embarrassed that I just froze there in place, and I just kind of zoned out, and I just sat down, and everybody walked away from me. I was so embarrassed. To this day, it's like, I shudder to think of that memory. But I'll tell a good one.
I was going to say, any other good stories from 4th of July?
Oh, I hate that. I just hated telling that story because it just makes me feel gross. But anyway, the good one is I was at this farm one time and I got stung by a bee because he landed on my ear. There was like, it was one of those things where people are like, I had one of those like fat red bats. You know those kids' bats that are fat and wiffle ball bats?
Yeah.
I had one of those and I was just kind of swinging it around and people were lighting fireworks off. And I felt something land in my ear and it was heavy. It was one of those fat bees. People were like, you got a bee on your ear. Don't move. And I didn't move at all. I just stayed there. It stung me anyway. And I was like, are you kidding? I went, and I was just like running around hitting this bee. It hurt so bad. My ear was super swollen. Mm-hmm. And then, I'm sure there's other 4th of July things that have.
How did you celebrate 4th of July?
We lit fireworks most of the time. Sometimes we watched them.
You and your immediate family? Because it was me and my immediate family and like grandparents. That's basically it.
Yeah, it was. I loved 4th of July. I love 4th of July still because it's just awesome explosion. I'm such a pyro.
So I did celebrate it this year, and I won't make it a long story, but I haven't for years. I haven't celebrated 4th of July for years because we haven't gone to see my grandparents in a long time. But I moved to a new place. My neighbors on the day before 4th of July, right next to me, had fireworks out in the drive. They're just lighting them off middle of the day. And I come up and like, so you just trying to do this before the cops come by? Because you're not allowed to light fireworks here. Mm-hmm. And he goes, they're illegal, and just shoots it up. And I thought it was the funniest thing. It's just like, yeah. And I was like, they're what? And he goes, we're just outside this city jurisdiction, whatever. You can light them on these days and these hours. I was like, well, then I'm going to go buy fireworks. And so I bought fireworks on 4th of July. I know you came over, but I was on my motorcycle, riding up and down the street, shooting Roman candles. And it was very fun. The whole neighborhood just lit up. It was like modern. It was very fun. I can't wait to do it again next year.
You'd come by and you'd be like, quick, reload me. And then you drove off and you just driving with one hand holding these Roman candles.
This is such a good day.
At one point, you strapped fireworks to the back of your car and it made it look like you were jetpack propelled.
Whatever the big, huge sparkle fountains are. And
strapped it to the back, and so you drove by. It looked like you had a rocket boost.
It's legal. That's what made it fun. Like just around the neighborhood.
It's legal.
Yeah.
4th of July is fun. Other than that one those two tarnishy things, there was one year my friend brought a potato gun. You know those potato launchers, because you like take gunpowder or whatever kind of explosive powder and you put it in this capsule, and then it's huge PVC pipe. I was like, what are the acronym? PVC pipe. But then you load up this capsule and then you seal it off, and like it's a super tight seal. But then you shove a potato in this thing. And then you point it upwards, and then you light it up, and it just launches it super far. And you can just see if you can hit stuff with a potato launcher. My freaking friend got shot with a potato. It looked like it hurt. Like you just saw him like walking along, and like a stupid friend of mine, he like points it down and it hit him square in the back. Like, ah! And he was like, "That's so bad. You could have broken his ribs." Anyway, that thing really launched it. So that was a fun 4th of July memory, even though that guy got shot. I got shot. What's next?
I was looking at the list, and it doesn't have the modern ones except for the two big ones, Christmas and Thanksgiving. The next one it says is Labor Day, which is in September. That one tends to work, or has come up in my life the same way Memorial Day does, where I don't have to go to work, or I didn't have to go to work. Never celebrate any particular way. And I don't think there's another holiday that we have ever had between 4th of July and September. Can you think of? I don't think there's one in June. No. Anyway, up to September, I think. Labor Day, does it do anything for you?
I think, is it Memorial Day or Labor Day?
Sorry, Labor Day in September.
I don't think so.
Yep. All right, now the next one is actually Columbus Day, which is in the same level, I think, of just it's a day off work. That's in October.
Yeah.
Early October, mid-October.
There's a bunch of drama about Columbus Day now because he was such a douche.
Because he wasn't modern.
Well, because he was a bad man. And it wasn't even just like bad from modern. It's certainly bad from modern standards because everybody back then was bad with modern standards, but he was bad for back then standards. He was, anyway.
Then the next one, which is not on here, is Halloween because that'd be the end of October.
Which is the one that our fan, I wish I could remember the fan that asked because I want to shout them out.
That's when I push a button on here. There's Obi-Wan. That's why I'm here. Like that's why we're talking about this episode today, is because Halloween.
Yeah. So whatever fan commented and asked that we talk about Halloween, this is for you. Give us a
push the applause. Kiss. Push the applause button. I knew it. I was like, he's gonna hit the wrong button for sure.
I turned the volume down because of this.
Yep.
Well done, fan. This is for you.
You want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
You go first.
Okay. So Halloween was, fortunately, I think I got to have Halloween as a child. Got to put on some kind of costume and go around the neighborhood getting candy. And I think it started off, I think I started when I was young enough to where we'd get in a car and then go somewhere. And then the parent would go along the car not far away so they could watch their kid. Like I was just small enough, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't younger than 6 though when I had Halloween. I wasn't that young, but I was young.
Mm.
And my mom used to make our costumes, which was the best kind of costumes. Well, I take it back. You can have someone make you a costume, which is special, right? But if it's a really bad costume, it's not fun.
Yeah.
Fortunately, she was good at making costumes. I can't remember any specifically, but she made some good costumes. Anyway, then at some point, Halloween became, you can go out on your own. You can... And then if you have a group of friends to go, that's cool. But Halloween was awesome. I used to love just collecting candy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny reading about this in memes later as an adult, but apparently this was normal because it happened with my dad. Or the parents, I guess, is the meme. They go through your candy, they take all the good ones, and they give you your candy back. It's like a tax. But it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So that was pretty normal. Yeah, I used to eat till I got sick, and that was fun. And one time I went to some Halloween type of a party as a kid, if that counts at all.
Mm.
And this most recent Halloween, I wore my costume and I rode the motorcycle around town. I was sitting on my driveway with a bowl of candy I had because I was going to give out candy because I'm an adult. And I was sitting there in my costume for 2 minutes. I was like, this is boring. So I got on my bike around my neighborhood, my motorcycle, and if I saw kids out trick-or-treating, I rode up to them and I handed them the bowl and like, take some candy.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that for like an hour. And that was really fun because I get to be on a bike and kids were like, whoa.
Mm-hmm.
But just sitting there in this huge costume, it was pretty sad.
It was your Venator costume?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think what's going to end up happening now is I'm going to start going out and untrick-or-treating.
Yeah, finding kids to give candy to.
Yeah. But that's, I think, all my stories for Halloween.
I have a lot of stories for Halloween.
Good.
Here's the most interesting one, and I think this is the one that would answer that our fans' question, because I think the fans' question was something like, "I would like to see how you guys celebrated Halloween, given your background growing up," or something like that. Mm. And we did not celebrate Halloween when I was a kid. We celebrated Reformation Day. Mm-hmm. You familiar with Reformation Day?
I'm familiar with the good Christian, unevel, wicked witch version of Halloween, which
yeah.
I definitely had a lot of that temperament coming into my holiday. It mm-hmm. wasn't purely mm-hmm. spooky stuff. It was just pumpkins and leaves. That's what Halloween is.
Pumpkins and leaves.
Yeah, they fall. They removed all the creepy stuff. Uh-huh. That's what my Halloween was as a kid. But yours sounded more severe.
Well, so I think it was on Halloween Day. It was October 31st in like 1400 or something. That was the day that Martin Luther nailed the 95 Thesis to the door of, I can't remember which chapel.
Yeah.
But it was like the start of the Lutheran Church, more or less. Mm-hmm. It was like the Catholic Church had a monopoly on all information, and they were the only ones who could read the Bible in Latin. And so they told people that Bible said all this stuff that it didn't say at all. And so they just had this monopoly over people's lives, and they were selling not indulgences. Was it indulgences? But
Who was selling what? The church?
The church was selling
indoctrination. Is that the word you're looking for?
No, I think that there were actually, it was actually a slip of paper. I think they're called indulgences. You just murder me if I'm wrong. But what essentially this piece of paper said is, "Oh, you sinned. This paper will allow you to go to heaven.
Yeah.
Still, this will indulge your desire to go sin, and you could buy indulgences before you did the sin.
Yep.
It was like the church was selling salvation.
Yeah.
It was really dirty and evil, but people didn't know better. And when people are guilted into something, like you've been evil and you know it, you need to buy indulgences to feel saved. They'll do it. So the church was just like this money-making machine selling people salvation. That was just BS. And Martin Luther was he knew Latin. He knew how to read. He knew how to read the Bible. And he was like, the Bible doesn't say anything about this. And so he put up this 95 Theses, and I can't remember them anymore. But anyway, all that to say, a bunch of stuff happened. The church tried to kill him a bunch after that because he was the one, opening people's eyes to this. I think he was the first one to translate the Bible into what the language the people could read, the Lutheran Bible. And he gave it, anyway, he started distributing it. That was when it was close to the time that the printing press got made. And so it was like kind of a miracle that happened, and he did all that work for it. He's one of the guys. There's another man who did a lot of work to get the Bible distributed too. But anyway, I think that happened on October 31st, the 95 Theses Day. And so what we did is we celebrated Reformation Day, and it started as this thing when we were really young because my parents didn't like witches and zombies and all the Halloween stuff. They thought it wasn't. It's like, well, if there's cool stuff that happened on that day, we should celebrate that instead. And there was cool stuff that happened on the day because that happened. And they wanted it to be like the fun thing with the candy and everything involved and stuff. And so they did this cool thing to represent sort of that story in a narrative way where they supplied, our first year we did it with 2 families. There was 2 of us homeschool families. There were 6 kids total. And they gave us backpacks. And then the parents had set up all these stations with these games that we played that were like, some of them were history games and some of them were like acted out games, and some of them, they were just fun. It was just fun. It was like a fun party night. But then after you did the game, they would give you what you thought was a huge bag of candy, and they'd just stuff it in your backpack, and they'd say, don't open it because you can only open it later. And by the end, they were like heavy, and it was like, this doesn't seem like it'd all be candy, but they kept giving us these bags in this backpack that we'd have to carry. By the end of the night, our backpacks are super heavy. We're like, oh my goodness, this is too much candy. Like, this can't be candy is what we were thinking. But it turned out they wanted to give us a narrative sense of like incurring burden and sin and things like that. They had us open it up at the end, and all these bags were not candy. Were like junk and trash and rocks.
I was gonna say,
stuff.
Did they Charlie Brown you and just give you rocks for Halloween?
More or less, yeah. Or like crab apples, like big, just gross stuff. But they wanted to represent that, like, even though you're doing all these good things, you're still a sinner, and like buying indulgences isn't gonna save you. But then it was like this big narrative thing, and at the end they gave us a big bowl of candy each. The first year, one of the games was that there was like a gummy worm eating contest. And I won, but at a very large cost. I just was eating like a huge plate of gummy worms. I got very sick, but I won what they called the Wormy Award. And it was like this big clay worm that just spiraled up. And I kept that thing for years. It ended up breaking before I got rid of it. But I won the Wormy Award by eating like probably hundreds of gummy worms. I ate so many gummy worms. They had a timer for like 2 minutes. It was way too long of a timer to just be eating gummy worms. Several of the kids like tapped out like, no, I'm going to get sick. But I was like, I'm going to win this award. And I did. Anyway, so that was the first year. And other years, what was crazy is that we enjoyed that so much that other families got involved. And after about 6 years of doing that, we had like 20 to 30 families, it felt like, doing that. And we'd have to rent out a church to do it. And they did these themes. It was so, like, the moms and dads worked really hard to organize this huge thing eventually, because there's just all these families that would come and celebrate Reformation Day. We had one year where they pretended like we were doing this world tour, and they do similar things. But like I remember there was one time they simulated a plane ride at the church. They had like customs, and so they set up a little booth, and then we all had to dress up in our traveling clothes, and we were each different characters, and So they had like customs, and they had like one of the moms, with like a wand, and she'd, oh, what is this? And like she'd like take off, it's metal. You can't go on the plane. And she'd send us away, and then we can get on after we went through customs again. And then we get to the plane, and it was just one of the rooms. They had all these chairs set up. And then the other moms would be dressed as stewardesses and come by. Can I get you any snacks, darling? It was so fun. They worked so hard to make it like this big fun thing, but it always ended with some sort of lesson, and sometimes we'd reenact things from that time period with Martin Luther and the 95 Theses. And I remember one time I was Martin Luther, and I got to walk up and nail the 95 Theses, which is like Velcro to the wall, and I'd pretend I put it up and put it up there. So that's what we did. We also did this thing a couple times when I got older called a Great Pumpkin Chase. You ever heard of those?
No.
So one of my uncle's churches, he was a youth pastor, and he would organize this thing called a Great Pumpkin Chase, where it was basically a citywide hunt for the Great Pumpkin, and he'd give you clues of where to drive with your team. He'd separate people in like 6 or 7 teams, and then you'd start off with a clue, and it would be some sort of riddle, and you'd have to figure out, where is this? And it'd be some clue about, I remember one of the clues, and it was like the home of the lofty letter, and somebody figured out, it's like, that's High V. You have to go to High V. It's like because someone figured it out, and we would drive to High V, and sure enough, there'd be a station there with a game you'd play. And then they'd give you the next clue, and you'd go to the next place, and whoever got through all the places got the final clue where the Great Pumpkin was, and it usually was in some state park, and you'd have to go with your flashlight and find it. It was so fun. And the winner, the Great Pumpkin, got all these pictures taken and all this candy and stuff. So those are the things I did for Halloween. Reformation Day, mostly. We did that all growing up.
Did you ever trick or treat before?
I trick-or-treated when I became an adult, and I got yelled at.
Yeah, because you're too big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I dressed up as a freaking The Invisible Man with some of my friends. So I had like all this wrapping and stuff, and we were goofing around. We didn't even really care if they gave us candy or not. We just wanted to make people smile. And we'd come to people's places. We'd be like, trick or treat. I hope you have a good day. And some people would give us, candy. Some people wouldn't. We went to this one house. And we rang the doorbell, and the lady answers, and we go, trick or treat. Hope you're having a good night. And she goes, you're kidding me. We were like, what? And she goes, come here. She goes, no, you take this candy. If you're going to act like children, you're going to get candy like children. We were like, we don't need candy. Like, no, you come here. And we were like, okay. And we were just so sad that we didn't keep going. Like, why'd you have to be mean? We were dressed up to make you happy, crazy lady.
I got yelled at once for being too old, and I was a kid. So I thought it's because I was too old, and maybe that was in their opinion, but it may have also been because I was the size of an adult as a child.
Yeah.
And so they wouldn't have known that I wasn't a child. I don't know, it was one of the two, but I hurt my feelings. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm a child. I'm trick-or-treating. What do you want from me?
Yeah, that sucks.
Anyway.
It's even worse when you are a child. I was
a child. I was like, I'm not an adult, though.
I was like 18. And so, I get if we were like, give us your candy, like right now.
Yeah.
But we weren't. We were like, we're going to dress up and go door to door, just like for fun. And I've seen other older people do that before. I don't know. That was the only time I ever did. And so I now associate trick-or-treating with grumpy ladies who say, no, you come here and take this candy if you're going to act like kids.
On a lighter note, but also like a bummer. You trick-or-treated that one time. I think a lot of people have this experience. You trick or treat, and there's somebody, in my case, I think it's a lot of people's cases, it's an old lady who gives you something that's not candy. Like, we had a neighbor who gave us popcorn balls. Mm-hmm. She was very nice, but these were not good. Not good. They tasted bad. You couldn't chew them. They're too tough. Anyway, yeah. But I'm sure there are people on Halloween that give out not candy, what kids don't want, and it's like, I can't eat this. But I don't know if you ever had someone hand you something like, I can't eat this.
Well, I think I went to maybe 4 or 5 houses the one time I did, because we got so sad by that one lady that we're just like, let's just go home.
Yep.
We'll go home and do worse things than trick or treat with your friends.
Yeah.
I think we went home and drank underage. So it was like, well, we don't have anything else to do. My dad's got liquor. I was like, I don't know.
That's not behaving like children, though.
No, it wasn't. We were so, yeah.
I think the next holiday is Veterans Day, which I think is November 11th is what that said.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think I've ever celebrated Veterans Day.
Do you know any veterans?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
That would have helped.
But a lot of my family are veterans, and so
yeah,
veterans. Yeah. It's always cool to me. This is the cool part to me. I went to a Chiefs game one time on Veterans Day, and it was on the day of Veterans Day, and so they said on celebration of Veterans Day, we'd like all of our veterans to rise as we give you an applause. And there's 88,000 fans in that building, and I watched my dad stand up, and everybody just applauding, and it was such a cool moment. Be like, wow,
yeah,
I forgot my dad was a veteran. Technically, he was in the Army, Army. And my uncle was, my grandpa was. A couple of my uncles were in the Army.
Yeah.
My grandpa was in the Navy. My uncle was in the Navy. But that was like the coolest. That or when you're in church and people are like, can all the veterans stand up? We could just applaud you. And watching my uncle stand up, who was very much affected by the war in Iraq that he served in, and watching him stand up and get applause for something that's affected his life ever since was like not near enough compensation, but I'm glad he's getting some.
I switched to the intro accent. I meant to click the nice.
Yeah.
But, anyway, sorry.
Yeah, it was cool to see him get that applause at church and stuff. But yeah, the coolest was definitely at Arrowhead. They had a freaking flyover. Freaking the flag is huge. Felt so patriotic. All these people just veterans. Such a cool day. It's a cool day to celebrate those people. They give a lot for us. What's the next holiday?
Not big surprise. Thanksgiving.
We
just had
2 days ago.
2 days ago? Was it? 2 days ago.
What did you do for Thanksgiving?
I was going to ask you that, but typically what happens is our parents have our immediate family over. There have been a few Thanksgivings where we'd go to our uncles and there'd be 2 to 3 related families together, and that was what I always preferred for Thanksgiving. It was like a family gathering. I remember one Thanksgiving, it was our really extended family, like out of states, and we had probably 100 people using a room in a church, and that's a lot of people for Thanksgiving. So that's pretty interesting. That's pretty cool. But my favorite Thanksgiving is our family, my uncle's family, and one other cousin's family. We did that 2 or 3 different times in my life, and that was like, yeah. Otherwise, it's our immediate family. And this time, a couple days ago, my brother had it. We went to his house, and it was just our immediate family our immediate family, us 6, and his wife. So it was pretty small. And they said something about, I think I asked, what did you have at your I can't remember Thanksgiving last year. Was it at our parents' house? Lewis was like, my brother, no, it was here. And I was like, I don't remember that. And then someone went, oh, you weren't here last year. I was like, oh, that's right. I didn't even live in Kansas last year. I wasn't even here. That's why I remember it. But apparently they've had it before, but it wasn't there. So it was really small. Yeah. Thanksgiving is usually just food for about 3 hours. That's usually about it. There's no activities. There's no football game. Sometimes the Cowboys game is on in the background, but that's it. It's very simple. What about you?
Yeah, we always watch football. I'm a football man. And my mother and my grandmother this year cooked us. They almost always cook, and they make it so lavish, so freaking good. They work on it all day, make all these freaking pies and ham and turkey. Freaking stuffing is amazing. It's my favorite Thanksgiving dish. What's your favorite Thanksgiving food?
Good question.
Stuffing for sure is my favorite.
I want to say stuffing, but mashed potatoes comes really close.
Yeah.
But stuffing. I've had stuffing though that has been so good that it is my favorite one.
Yeah. Freaking stuffing. Freaking kidding me? I must eat some right now. Just shove it in my mouth. So we normally watch football. We used to have a tradition where we watch Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Have you ever watched that movie?
I don't think so.
Steve Martin and John Candy. It's funny. It's ridiculous, but it's funny. It's one of those quirky 90s, 80s movies with like the soundtrack and the yeah. Anyway, it's funny. I remember when I was a kid. There's one scene. It's iconic planes, trains, and automobile scene. But there's Steve Martin's character is just having a time. There's all these shenanigans are happening throughout the whole movie, and he's like fed up, and so he goes to this lady at the airport, and he's missing like this tiny little thing, and she's sorry, we can't help you, and he loses it, and he drops the F-bomb about 50 times in a row. It is such a funny rant, but it's Steve Martin, and he's just saying it like this, and effing this, effing my effing this, and effing that, and effing this is effing happening, my effing word. Anyway, so he goes to this huge rant, and as a kid, my parents would make me leave the room.
Yeah.
But we'd watch it because the whole rest of the movie was pretty clean. But it's such a funny scene that I think of that when I think of that movie.
Do you think of that movie when you think of Thanksgiving?
Yeah. My dad brought this up the other day. My favorite Thanksgiving of all time was my family from Colorado, who are big Denver Broncos fans, flew to Kansas City, and there was a game the Chiefs played against the Broncos on Thanksgiving. I think it was the last game the Chiefs played on Thanksgiving was against the Broncos.
Do you know if they were playing it here in Kansas or they were playing it in Colorado?
I don't remember.
Anyway,
I get the impression it was here, but so they're huge Denver Broncos fans. We're huge Chiefs fans. And we all just dressed up in all our jerseys, and my uncle is head to toe in Broncos orange, including his shoes. He was wearing orange Chuck Taylors, and my dad was red head to toe. He was wearing his red Chuck Taylors. And we watched the game, and the Chiefs routed the Broncos, and we were so freaking happy. That was my whole dad's side of the family there. My dad and my dad's uncle were just big, they're best buddies. He's passed away since. Not my dad, my dad's uncle, but that was a fun memory. That was probably back in 2003 or 2004. The best Thanksgiving. Yeah, that's the most notable Thanksgiving. This last Thanksgiving was awesome. Bunch of food.
Oh yeah, what did you do this Thanksgiving?
This Thanksgiving, came out here. I mixed a lot. I went in there to the room and I did mixing a lot. But when I was hanging out with my family, watched football, hung out with my dad, hung out with my mom, ate freaking great food. Yeah, it's pretty chill. What's the next holiday? Do you have any other Thanksgiving things?
No. You can probably guess the next one is.
Christian Miss.
Christian Mass.
Yeah.
Yep.
My favorite holiday.
Is it? I don't know what my favorite holiday is, but it's not Christmas. I'm a Grinch.
Probably Easter for you.
I don't know. Maybe 4th of July. It's been the most consistently good. If I had to pick one. But not Christmas. It's been consistently bad. That's just funny because that is the character of the Grinch. Christmas has a bad connotation, so then therefore the whole thing is bad. At least I'm not quite ignorant enough to truly believe that therefore Christmas is bad because it's been bad for me, but it has been bad for me, so I don't like Christmas.
Yeah.
So I've had Christmases and they've been legit and awesome as balls. Although apparently we'd open Christmas we do Christmas on Christmas Day night, which was normal to us, but it was torture because you had to wait that much longer to open presents. But apparently it was normal for people to open presents on Christmas morning. I remember one year in the movie or wherever we were getting this information, they're opening in the morning. And there was something like, yeah, that's what people do. People open them in the morning? Why do we open them at night? Can we open them in the morning? We're like, yeah, I guess you can. You guess we can? Yeah, we want to open them in the morning. So it was pretty funny. This whole time. But we've had Christmases, and how they work is all the presents are under the tree. We get around, we read a Bible story, and then each kid takes a turn going to the tree and picking one and opening it. Mm-hmm. So it would take about as long as possible, which is as a kid is great because you want to milk all that excitement.
Yeah,
I think that's the proper way. And then it turned into everybody grabs one and everybody opens one at the same time. And then it turned into everybody gets all their presents out front of the tree. Everybody has a pile, and then everybody just starts opening all their presents. Like it got more rapid and just we get it now.
Consolidated.
Yeah. And we've had Christmas dinner 2 or 3 times a meal, but typically that's it. It's just the presents in the morning. We've had lights up on the house. That's it. Never had Santa Claus. Nothing like that. That's pretty normal. I take that for granted, but kids think about, but never was told about or cared or believed in Santa Claus. But most Christmases we haven't celebrated. There's been no tree, no nothing, just like it doesn't exist, just passed by. And so that's part of it. I don't want to talk about it too much.
Didn't you tell me that you guys eat shrimp or something on Christmas?
No, that's the next holiday.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Yeah, just we've acknowledged it less than half the time. So I haven't had many Christmases. And recently Christmas has taken on some other meaning that's not super important. It is to me, and I just don't enjoy it. So, but
you want to talk about it?
No, I don't. I don't enjoy it for the wrong reasons, though. It's not like a good reason I don't like Christmas. It's not a good reason, but it affects me. So,
because everybody's too happy for you.
No, that's not it. Anyway, your turn.
I love Christmas. I have forever. My family makes Christmas a huge deal. Influence of my Grammy, who has passed away 2007. So it's been a long time, but we've just kept the tradition on of just huge Christmases. My family's super like generous, and I'd say we're blessed, but I wouldn't say that they're like rich by any means, but what they have, they like to give more or less, especially their kids and family and uncles and aunts and whatever. So yeah, I've always remembered just huge Christmases where my dad gives my mom a huge present, and it's always just such a like exciting thing to watch mom get this big gift, or us kids too. I've gotten some crazy gifts from people that are so like lavish and things like that. But the thing about it is that all of us do that. Like, I don't think there's been a Christmas where I've spent less than as since I've been an adult, but since I've spent less than like $300-$400. Like, we spend a lot on Christmas on each other because we save up a lot of the year for it. I think this is the first year we're not making it a huge deal intentionally. Like, all right, we have like this studio and some financial stuff that we got to do. So let's all not make Christmas a big deal. But every year up to this year, it's always been a huge deal. And like you said, I think the typical plan is we invite the whole family over. I don't know if we'll do that this year because of COVID, but invite all the family over. We'll do our own private Christmas with us in the morning, my immediate family. And, you know, my little sister always gets to distribute the presents because she's just always done that and she's enjoyed it. And so she gives us all our pile of presents, and then we go around, start from the youngest, go to the oldest, and we each take turns opening and just go around until everybody's done. And there's a Bible story usually involved in praying beforehand. It's all very thankful. I don't think that, I mean, obviously I'm biased, but I don't think that technically we've been spoiled, but we've certainly been super, super blessed that we all always have done this just big deal thing. Yeah. We think about, I think the reason that we can justify is my parents have always said, like, well, we don't really like spending money on ourselves, but we just love spending money on each other and things like that. And so we think that's okay as long as the spirit of it is that you remember that God gave the greatest gift of all ahead of time. And so it's like, if God is one who likes to give great gifts, then what's so wrong about us wanting to give great gifts too? You know, I don't know. Maybe there is. Maybe it's just, I don't know. I think it's fun. I think it's good though. But we've always done big Christmases. This last year, all my family, including my aunts and uncles, extended family, they saved up to get me a Martin guitar, which are the best guitars in the world. So beautiful. And that was my one gift, but it's like a Martin. Holy cow. It's so nice. Best guitar I've ever played, no less I own it. One year, my parents and my grandpa purchased me a hammer dulcimer. Freaking love that thing. It's hanging here in the studio. Usually they're music gifts, and usually I have one gift that's like really too expensive one. I told my parents, don't spend any more than $50 on me this year. They will, because they always do, but I'm good. Anyway, very excited for it this year. I always love it. It's just like the spirit of it. Everybody, it's so cliched, but like you just driving out in public, people aren't road ragey. They're not mad. They're just it's just peaceful, calm usually. Some people, what's weird to think about is that this day, which is such a good day for so many people, somebody just lost their loved one today. Somebody's having a terrible day today. And I wouldn't know because it's not me. So I have to remind myself this day is just like another day for other people. And in some people's day, this is their worst day they're ever going to experience. So I need to treat people like that still. Everybody's not having this good of a day. But it's always been nice for me. Do you have any specific memories of Christmas that you can think of?
Nope. Not really.
Not really. I love it. New Year's Eve. We're close to the end of the year.
Yeah.
New Year's Eve. As close as you can get.
New Year's Eve might be my favorite, actually, because it's the most unique. It's our family's holiday. I don't know how it started, but we have something that I've called the Shrimpening, and that's we've called it that ever since. Basically, New Year's Eve, we make a lot of shrimp, and we get sparkling grape juice, and we eat all kinds of shrimp.
So good.
That's when I play the clip of Bubba listing all the kinds of shrimp. But we all kinds of shrimp and sparkling grape juice, and that's it. It's like an hour or two before New Year's night, and then we watch the ball, and then we're done. It's super simple, but it's also weird. I don't know how it started. I think one night she just made shrimp. Like, we do this again next year, and then it just happened to be New Year's Eve night. Don't know why I like it so much, except that it's so unique and it's simple, and we all like, I don't know.
That's the best.
It's weird.
It's the best.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm like, I can't wait to eat shrimp. I could eat shrimp anytime, you know? But it's like the shrimpening.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I love it.
What about you? Do anything on New Year's Eve?
Yeah, my parents, it's funny because New Year's Eve, like we either went, I remember when I was really young, all of my mom's side of the family, we'd get together and we'd rent this big log cabin and we'd all stay there and they'd party till late in the night. They'd do like improv games. That was my first exposure to improv, is when my parents would play them with my aunts and uncles, and they'd do like scenes from a hat and things like that where they'd have to, I remember this one where my aunts and uncles, the scene was that one of my uncles was giving birth and they were taking him to the hospital. And so he was just, like playing it up so big. And then they like got like a fake baby. They like pushed it out of him and they made it so funny. When I was a kid, watched my aunts and uncles and my mom and dad just be ridiculous on the stage in the living room of this cabin. My little sister would always cry when the fireworks started happening. The poppers pop, pop, pop. And they'd tell her, you know, it's been 3 years in a row now that when we start popping the poppers, you cry. But just remember, it's going to be really loud, but it'll be fun. She'd be like, okay. And then, she'd start crying instantly. Yeah. More recently, New Year's, there was a while that New Year's is just when I'd go party. I haven't done that in a couple years, but there's some interesting things that have happened New Year's Eves at parties for me. I don't think I'm going to tell those stories. I was being naughty. But yeah, New Year's Eve is okay. New Year's Eve's all right.
I think that's all the holidays.
Mm-hmm. I hope we didn't forget anything.
And obviously there are more holidays, but are there other holidays that we celebrate? I don't think so. St. Patrick's Day is one of them.
Oh, frick. I totally have stories about that.
Shamrock Shake is all I've got for that. What about, do you have something for that day?
Yeah.
Oh, what is it?
So, like, similarly, kind of how we did Reformation Day, we did something for St. Patrick's Day, too. It wasn't as big and grand as Reformation Day, but St. Patrick was also a saint, and so we'd celebrate that day, and usually involved green foods and some history and some games, and we'd meet up with other families. We'd have talent shows that day. I don't know why we did talent shows on St. Patrick's Day, but that's when the homeschoolers would get together and do talent shows.
I've never known anyone to celebrate that holiday except, like, there's a parade and you have to wear green or else someone's allowed to pinch you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Chicago
that's it.
dyes their freaking river green. Do you know that about Chicago?
No.
Like the river that goes through the city, they always dump a bunch of green into it. They just dye it green.
Good.
It looks cool.
And then like it shows the river and a Mountain Dew logo slaps in the sky above.
Yeah, yeah.
Quench your thirst. And it's just they use that as marketing every year.
Yeah. When you do that, I thought, slap into a Slim Jim. I don't know why. Mountain Dew, slap into a Slim Jim. We like Patrick's Day. It was an excuse to freaking Irish accents all day. Oh man, my favorite St. Patrick's Day we ever did, we looked up the largest list of Irish blessings in the world. And Irish blessings are so funny. You ever just listen to Irish blessings?
Every day.
They're so funny. You need to look up a list sometime. If you ever watch YouTube videos of men giving Irish blessings, because they're usually like, may your beds be empty and your mugs full. You know, things like, I don't know, like something like that. They're usually about drinking and being merry, and I don't know. They're usually fun play on words. I wish I could think of some now. There's been some hilarious ones. Irish blessings. Any other holidays? Not that I could think of.
I can't think of any. Well, I guess because we're getting close to the end of the year, what do you think you're going to do on Christmas? I think you already said you're planning a small one, right? That's the plan. I'm just going through the holidays.
What are you doing for Christmas?
Nothing.
Do you want to do something for Christmas?
It's not that I want to not do something. It's just I have nothing that I want to do.
Yeah.
Which is...
You can come hang out with our family on Christmas.
Oh, that's nice.
I would like it if you did that. At least come out for dinner. You don't have to be there for the presents part if you don't want, but you could think about it and let us know. Let me know.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah. That's not the day for people to be by themselves. It's a day to be together with people, at least for a little bit. And you can go back by yourself where you feel good.
Oh, there is one good thing about Christmas. I was thinking about it earlier, I forgot. And that is the roads are typically way more empty, and therefore riding a motorcycle is more fun because it's like an open map now. I end up riding on Christmas. That's why I usually...
It's an empty lobby.
I end up riding on Christmas. So I'm going to do that as long as the weather's not bad. I'll just enjoy. There's nobody out here to do what I want. So that is something.
That's a good thing.
Yep. Finally, I get to... Ironically, the thing I like about Christmas is I get to be more alone.
Yeah. Oh, isn't that true, though?
All right.
Do you want to pick another movie that we can do impersonate people for that movie, kind of like we did Harry Potter last week? Because that was fun. Let's do Lord of the Rings.
Okay, let's do a little bit.
Okay. You have a hilarious joke for Gandalf.
Oh.
And it's, I don't know if you originated it or I think you did, but the idea is that he has a slight whistle when he says his S's. Like this, something like that. It says, the ring is in your pocket. So silly.
Yeah, I did that, I think, and then you took it to like a huge, just made it pretty obnoxious. You turned it into, what's his name? There's a character in Family Guy who's old and has a whistle. You took that and did it like ×5 into a Gandalf turned into. I can try impressions, but you're going to have to leave me on because I'm thinking about the trilogy and I'm thinking about middle-aged guys. So except for maybe Smeagol and Gollum, I'm not thinking of a lot of character voices, but we should give them a try.
Yeah. Yeah, we should.
I'm pouring water. I'm getting ready.
We should start from the beginning.
Let's quote the trilogy. Here we go.
Let's just go through the whole movie.
All right. Crap, I don't know how it actually starts, but I know it's Lady Galadriel that she's talking about. Why is the thought of her speaking funny? Yeah, there must be some inside joke. My brain's going, "Hey, remember this?" Because I don't remember.
The inside joke is that we do it all in Patrick Warburton's voice.
Oh, that must be what it was.
In the place of a dark lord, you will have a queen.
Oh, that's But I'm thinking about the intro when she's whispering, "The world is changing." Is one of the first things, if not the first thing she says.
Yeah.
All right, let's pick a voice to go for. We gotta try Smeagol.
Frodo.
Okay.
Sam. It's always Sam. Sam. Sam.
Remember what Gandalf said? Something about kicking your feet.
Something about kicking. That's not bad. It's sort of girly, and it goes down like that.
Give me the ring, Sam.
Sam, Give me the ring.
You should have put a ring on it, Sam. No, I don't think I can do his voice.
Sam. Yeah,
he's just a normal.
Tough.
He's just any normal guy is hard to do because they're
Sam. That's for Frodo.
Oh, you know what? Another character voice are the orcs. I think I want to try that one first. So, not the yelling one, but the quiet one. What is it? I can't do it. What do you smell?
Man flesh.
Whoa,
I can do
nice.
that voice fine, but the other guy.
Yeah,
They are not for eating.
that's not bad.
You try that guy because I can't really do it.
I can't do that. I can't do that.
Oh.
I can do that.
It's going to the great eye, along with everything else.
Yeah.
You touch it,
Yeah.
and I'll stick this blade in your gut.
Hey, that shiny shirt. It's mine.
Now that voice, I think I can do better than the one I just tried.
Yeah.
Because it's
That shiny shirt,
that's all he's doing.
Yeah.
that's mine. It's going to the great eye, along with everything else.
And then the fun line of his.
The scum tried to knife me. Kill him! Kill him!
Kill him.
It's like most things. It's funnier in doses.
Yeah.
Patrick Warburton, right there. You're like, oh yeah.
The scum tried to knife me. Yeah.
Oh man. Oh, you know, I think we can both do Pinky. I guess that's his name, the pink
Pinky?
orc. Yeah, the pink orc in the third movie. Well, I can do it. I'm trying to remember the specific. I'm trying to remember a specific line.
Pinky.
Yeah.
The time of the orc
Yeah.
is over.
Jeez,
Anyone
that's
can do that
good.
voice. Wait, whoops.
Whoops, I meant the age of men is over.
But then he has.
Of the orcs is over. Whoops. The age of man is over.
There's one line that bothers me for some reason. It's like the actor playing him forgot what his voice
The
was.
time of the orc has begun.
That's how it ends. It's the age of man is over the time. Okay, what? Sorry.
There's one line he says to the ring wraith. He goes,
What of the wizard?
but he doesn't say it in the right voice. It sounds like just a guy.
What of the wizard?
And like that's not your voice. Anyway,
Hey,
that
or
voice, you
here's
can do
the
it
best
too.
orc. The best orc is, oh! You know that one? Oh! You know what I'm talking about?
Oh!
Yeah, it's
I
in
know
the
what you're
second
talking
one.
about.
He's
Yeah.
walking. Oh!
Actually,
It's so funny. I think it's the second one.
I think it's the third one actually because they're.
Yeah, it might be at the gate of.
Farm ranks.
I don't know his voice. It's form ranks you maggots.
Yeah.
Form ranks. That's
Form
because
ranks.
they're about to defend Mordor. So
Yeah.
it's the third one.
Oh,
think.
it's so
I could be wrong.
specific. I know you know what I'm talking about because it's
yeah.
like, oh,
And when you went like, I already know what you're
yeah.
doing.
That's for Frodo. That's for my old gaffer.
There's got to be other orcs. Man. I guess there's this guy at the third movie. I know he has a specific voice. He sounds like a person, though.
Late as usual. Pirate scum.
There's no field work that needs doing. Something like that.
That's great.
He just sounds like a dude.
What about the King of the Dead?
The king. Oh, yeah, sure.
The way is shut. Now you must die. No one,
I don't know his voice.
but the king of Gondor may command me.
That's pretty good.
Shh, and it locks him.
Shit.
Yeah.
That noise is funnier.
Yeah.
I will have your allegiance.
We haven't done Aragorn yet.
Well, he's a normal dude, but we can try.
Yes, it's kind of nasally too, sort of like Dumbledore for Harry.
Most people have, range, and so when he whisper speak versus strong voice speak, it sounds like two different impressions. You can do whichever one.
Do the yelling when we see the final speech. No,
But it is not this day.
It'll just sound like me yelling if I tried that. So let's try
this day we fight.
let's try the more fun stuff. 87. King Theoden has a good memory. Sounds like me talking. He was a small child at the time. Doesn't sound
Small child. He says, yeah, I can see that.
I cannot give you what you see.
That's medieval for That's medieval for begone thought.
Yeah. Yeah. Begone thought.
No, see, it's just a guy. It's not really doable.
Oh, man.
Unless you happen to have a voice that sounds like that guy, you can do an impression of a person. It's typically not easy.
Like his yell is so specific.
Yeah, he does have a specific yell.
It's like, but it's like, I can't. Can you do it?
Nope. If you dub that over the movie, people would laugh because it does not belong.
Yeah. Yeah.
Text to speech, yeah.
So funny.
Well, we do have to do Smeagol and Gollum. I just dread it because everybody can do that.
We can do that last.
Voice. Okay.
We could do Legolas next.
Legolas? I can't do it.
A foul voice. How does that line go? A foul voice.
There's a foul voice in the air.
There's a foul voice in the air.
Nope.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, Saruman. We can kind of do Christopher Lee.
Can you?
Oh, yeah, I can kind of. Why don't you go ahead, because I need to think about
I can't think of what he sounds like right now.
I guess I'll try first and think of a line.
I think I can't do it, I don't think.
We must join with him. So the ring of power has been found. No.
That's pretty good.
Nah, I'm not hitting it.
You're not quite hitting it, but I would not get close.
I have done better. But I'm not hitting it now.
Mm-hmm. My marble. My big marbles. You've lost your marbles, Saruman. When he dies and drops the Palantir.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've lost your marbles, Saruman.
Grima Wormtongue is kind of a character.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
But I don't think I can do his voice, though.
I can't think of any of his lines.
This order does not come from me. It comes from the king. He signed it this morning. Sounds like me.
I'm trying to think of more notable. I have only ever been loyal. I can't remember what he says.
Served you, my lord.
Served you, my lord. And he's dragging a sword behind him, all like pyramid head.
Your witchcraft would have me crawling on all fours like a beast. It doesn't sound
like a beast.
Can't do him. All right, unless I can think of
my
an orc.
son is dead.
Unless I can think of an orc, I just want to go for Smeagol and Gollum because I can't do any normal voices.
Gimli.
I can't really do them very
Small
well.
chance of success. What are we waiting for? John Rhys Davies.
I can't really do them.
You can't?
I go try. I guess I ought to because it'd be fair.
Breathe. Oh, breathe.
Man, okay.
It's the same as Treebeard. You can do
I know.
Treebeard.
Yeah, Treebeard's different because it's whispering it basically.
I'm glad you've come.
Wow, I'm out of it.
Many of these trees were my friends. Creatures I had known from mud and acorn.
I'm sorry, Treebeard.
They had voices of their own.
Like I can hit inflections, but I can't do the
yell.
voice.
No! There is no.
That's great. You can do it. You can do it really well. We haven't done Merry Pippin.
Well, they're gonna
kinda
sound like
did.
us doing voice. They're gonna sound like us doing accents.
Mm.
Except for when Pippin yells, "Merry!" It goes way up there.
Merry. Mm-hmm. Oh, that was you, Pitt. Think about Merry, Frodo, and Sam.
Frodo and Sam. Foolhardy, maybe. He's a took. It just sounds like.
That sounds pretty
I
good.
bet there are other orcs or other even characters. Like Treebeard was a good call. That's a creature voice. And so.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's got to be.
Elrond?
No. No,
He sounds pretty regular.
We can try, but it's a guy, so it's not going to be very interesting.
Mm.
There is no weapon here that I'm going to possess. One of you must do this.
One of you must do this. I can't do him at all.
Yeah, so just
Yeah.
it's not rewarding to even try.
Yeah.
It's like asking me to do you almost. It's just a guy, so it's going to sound like me.
More or less.
But there are, for most people, some person that you will sound most similar to, and it happens with like celebrities or voices that you might be able to recognize or identify. Like, for example, someone can do, that's a good example. Who has a normal voice?
Nicolas Cage.
I was going to say it, but he has a character voice in a way.
Sort of
That's
like
literally
this.
the person I was thinking of, but fine with him. Some people, they can sound exactly like him, but so I sound like a normal guy. There's somebody out there who can talk and sound just like me, but most people can't because it's just, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the ones that are really impressive.
Yeah.
When someone can just do a guy's, when someone can mimic a guy who is a guy, I'm impressed. And if ever a girl could do a guy, I'm super impressed. But
Yeah.
that like doesn't really happen. But
Yeah.
anyway,
You know, I just realized, I just recalled that Sauron has the sort of thing Voldemort has, where, whispering and stuff. It's like what is it with big bad guys and whispering in your head? Is whispering in your head like a notable thing that big bad guys do in like culture? I guess so. If you think about like your conscience. I don't know.
if you gave me a longer list, maybe it'd be a stronger case. But
They're like the
there's
two
just
most quintessential freaking stories of the last couple centuries.
Darth Vader doesn't do it. He's also kind of quintessential.
Yeah, but Darth Sidious.
Yeah, but he's not that bad.
Yeah, he's
He's
good.
good in the end, but Voldemort and Sauron are not good in the end. They're more
It'd be
evil,
like
so they
Darth
whisper.
Sidious. He kind of whispers, doesn't he?
Nope.
Not in your
He doesn't
head.
whisper.
Huh.
Um,
I'm gonna watch those again. If he whispers in people's heads, I'm gonna be so mad.
he
at you.
talks in someone's head in one of the sequel movies, but he doesn't talk in people's heads. I mean, he does talk. But he doesn't whisper in people. He never whispers. Oh, he does.
Yeah, he does.
I know you want to. That's not whispering though. It's more of a quiet. I can feel your anger. It's but he's not explicitly whispering like Voldemort and Sauron does.
Yeah,
Since you asked.
yeah.
But
he
if you find him explicitly whispering, I will be like, okay, I lost.
yeah.
All right, let's get Eagle and Golem out of the way. We're fudging with it. Deagle. This is gonna be not good.
Because it's my birthday. And I want it.
That's pretty good.
Bitch.
That's the noise I have to do.
I can't do him. Everybody tries, and some people can get close, but I can't really get that close.
Yeah, I can't get all the way there.
See what's me go find.
That's rough.
That's tough.
See what's me go find.
Yeah,
It's not all there.
that little laugh he does is funny.
And then when the Golem is really hard.
Where would you be without me? I saved us. We survived because of me.
Hey, that was.
It sounds
You're
like
good.
someone's struggling, which is what's happening.
But it
Except for
sounds good.
Smeagol's a lot easier because he doesn't have all that going on.
You see, I couldn't do it.
Anymore. What did you say?
When he's not, then it's easier. But
Yeah.
I think a lot of people can do that voice.
And never come back.
No. What?
Leave now and never come back. Leave now and never come back. Smeagol is free.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't.
Eagles free.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're not, I mean, it's not awful, but we're just not, we wouldn't say.
It's not a fun voice to do either. Like some
No.
people, it's like, it's like, it doesn't sound good.
It's not necessarily fun to listen to. And it's also kind of overdone. Like,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That came like 20 years ago and everyone's done the voice.
Oh
now, you know
man,
what I mean?
that was like the thing that was like your ticket into coolhood if you're a middle
exactly.
schooler.
Right.
If you could do the Smeagol voice, you're a cool kid.
Yeah. So that's
Very
kind of why
stereotypical.
it's not fun.
Yeah.
It's also not fun to do because it's difficult and you'll just wear your voice out really quick.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Well, so much for really quick, but that's okay. I had fun going through the Lord of the Rings voices.
Yeah.
Kind of. I'm sure we missed a couple really good ones.
Oh, I know. I'm like racking my brain really quick because I feel like we're out of time, but there's got to be more Lord of the Rings voices.
Shoot,
I'm gonna
have a bunch of dudes.
Yeah, there are a bunch of dudes in that show. The Balrog.
We never actually did Gandalf. We never actually did, and we should have given him a chance.
And what about very old friends?
Sometimes I do better than others. This is one of those days where I don't even think I'm going to get close.
Yeah, it's tough.
You haven't aged a day.
Yeah.
Just tea, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
No. I'm like, no.
Hold out your hand, Frodo. It's quite cool.
I'm quite cool. I want to hear him say,
I'm quite cool.
I want to be like the cool kids. You know? Cool. You just cut that out and make him say cool all the time for an affirmation response.
Cool.
Just cool.
Cut that off and use it as a soundbite.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll Photoshop a picture of Gandalf with shades on. And the word says cool. Push it. Cool.
Yeah. I'm picturing, Samwise Gamgee, have you been eavesdropping? I ain't been dropping no eaves, so honest. Cool. Yeah, I'm trying to find it. Cool.
A little late for trimming the birds, don't you think?
Cool. Yeah. Well, that's fun. I like going through movies and doing
I do.
accents.
I just realized we can be pretty obnoxious when we just drudge through them. This is what a normal conversation would look like. It would just be us sitting there, oh, can you do this? I'm thinking about it. Oh, God, this voice. So I don't feel too bad about us indulging it.
Yeah. Well, thank you everybody for joining. If we missed anything, be sure to tell us.
Oh, yeah. More specifically, if there's something that you'd like us to talk about topic-wise, thank you again for the suggestion for holidays. Let us know, any way you want to. We have an email address on our unfinished website. The easiest way right now is our YouTube channel. Leave a comment on one of our videos. I'm so grateful for that person for commenting an idea to talk about, to the point that next show I will try, if I find it, I will shout that person out next time. Because that was, you're the first one to have your topic brought about in the show. The Halloween thing. So thanks for bringing that up. I guess I'll close it out. Yes, close it out. Thank you very much for the listening, and we will see you next time. I'm gonna do this and fade this in. We will see you next time.